Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the sun now, that whenever the sun used to come up in the sky, that it would turn towards left and it would go to the west, and whenever the sun came up again it would go to the east, i.e. the sun would never harm them in any ways. Because as you guys know, if any one of us stand in the sun for so long, it could affect us, um, it could affect our physical body. But subhanAllah, they were sleeping in the cave for 309 years, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed the way the sun would be upon them. So that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذَا تَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ تَزَوَّرُ عَنْ كَهْفٍ مِنْ ذَاتِ الْيَمِينِ. And it's a tazawwar yamil. It goes from left side and it goes to right side. So the sun wasn't literally on them directly, so it doesn't affect them, and it doesn't. The reason why they mention about the sun is our teachers mentioned that the sun used to be on them directly for a few minutes and it would go away from them, because every single human needs vitamin. Because these people, they're not dead, they were sleeping, and if you're sleeping for 309 years, 9 years, you still need to have some type of vitamin in you, right? So they used to have vitamin coming to them, and which is a vitamin D as we call it nowadays. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them some type of health for them to be able to stay. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَحْسَبُ عِقَاذًا وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ وَنُقَلِّبُ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ وَكَلْمٌ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعَيْهِ بِالْوَصِيدِ. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking about what was the situation when they were sleeping. Now they say that if one of you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions later on, that if one of you was to go to them, وَلَوْ اطَّلَعْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ لَوَلَّيْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِرَارًا وَلَوْ مِنْهُمْ رُعْبًا. That, O Muhammad sallam, and the people, the disbelievers that ask you this question, tell them that if they was to go to him, if they was to go to the people of the cave and see them the way the situation is, sleeping for 309 years, they would be scared. Ru'b, i.e. khawf. They would be scared to see them. Why? Because they were sleeping with the eyes open. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, تَحْسَبُ أَيْقَاظًا وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ. You think that they're sleeping, you think that they're awake, but they're actually sleeping. Ruqud, they're sleeping, is a jama'ah for the jama'ah. They're sleeping. So if you was to see them, and they say that if one of you was to see at that time, go and see the people of the cave, you will see them sleeping, the eyes open but they're asleep. Now why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that if you was to see that you'd be scared? They say that because of so many years went past, they had long nails. The nails were super long, 309 years. What do you expect the nails are going to be? They said that the hair was going all over the place. 309 years the hair was all over the place. And the nails was all over the place. And the eyes were open but they're actually asleep. So people would think you'd be scared, like if one of us was to go to the cave and see random 4 people with long hair, eyes open, long nails, you think it's a jinn. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لو اطلعت عليهم لوليت منهم فرارا ولا ملئت منهم رعبا. You'd be scared if your heart would be full of fear if you was to go and see these people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing them the ayah, the disbelievers, i.e. the disbelievers, look at my ayah, that how I made these people go to the cave and sleep for 309 years. This is not something impossible for me. I am Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not impossible. You guys were supposed to ask me about the skies, how the skies were made, how the earth was made, how the 7 heavens were made. But you're asking me a simple question about the people of the caves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them that you'd be scared if you was to see them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فهو من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. Now this is a really important topic to speak about, the importance of wali. That unfortunately we think, wali is a person who's Sufi, who flies in the sky, or who holds a rosary or a bead in his hand all day and night. He forgets about his family. No, Allah, the one who neglects his family, his children, and he's always in the mosque and thinking that he's going to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like that, he's not wali, he's a jahil. He's an ignorant person. Because he doesn't know the rights of his wife, his rights of his children, doesn't know the rights of his neighbors, doesn't know the rights of his community. As someone who thinks, I'm going to be a wali. What's a wali? I'm going to go to the mosque, get a bead in my hand, read Qur'an all day and night, do dhikr, take my head left and right, and I'm going to be there from Fajr all the way to Isha, then come back home, eat 2 bites of rice, which my wife made the whole day, then I'm going to go sleep. That is not a wali. That is what you call a jahil, a ignorant person. A wali is a person who has reached a level where he could take you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, many of us, we think, I don't need a wali, I can get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala myself, I can just read Qur'an every day, do tasbih. But how many scholars, ulama, so-called scholars that we've seen, that they don't have person guiding them and they go to the wrong path. Why? Because there wasn't a person who was giving them a regular litany or a regular wird, as we call it, a regular dhikr to do. Because a wali is a person who has reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knows the way. Now this person is only showing you the tariq. Now people that have problems with wali, they got the wrong idea, the wrong mindset, think that wali is a person who does miracles. Wali is a person who does weird stuff. But no, a wali is a person, or a murshid is a person who takes you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like a doctor. We have a doctor you go for, if you have any illnesses, to cure you, right? He gives you medicine. Now do you say that's haram? I'm going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for medicine. No, you go to the doctors whenever you're ill. So likewise, a wali is a person who cures the heart. A wali is a person who, all the illnesses that we have in our heart, from rancor, from hatred, from jealousy, from backbiting, from every single illnesses and maladies that you can think of the heart, a wali is a person who takes it away from you. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides what He wants, who He wants, na'am. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not guide you, then you have not found a wali and murshida. You have not found someone who is your murshid, who's going to take you. Look at the example of a dog. This dog that entered, which we call Qitmir, although we don't know what's the name of the dog. They say that there's several animals in the from this earth that's going to go heaven. We know that on the day of judgment, every single animal, they turn into dust. Khalas, they become the dust. But there are few animals on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter them heaven with the people because of the people who they were. So they say the dog from the Ashab al-Kahf, from the people of the cave, the dog that entered the cave with them, he's going to enter heaven. So if a dog who was accompanying these people for 309 years is going to enter heaven, what about people like us? If we accompany people like the awliya, the surrounders, the mashayikh, those people who have tazkiyah, those people who have purified their heart, those people who will reach to Allah, who will take you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We speak about a dog. A dog is going to go to heaven, not because he went to the cave, not because he's a special dog. He became a special dog because he was with the people of iman that we spoke about yesterday, the youngsters who were filled with iman. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا إِلَّا أَنْ يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. That is something important. Unfortunately, we forget to say inshallah in a lot of things. We mentioned yesterday the reason why the revelation came 15 days later, because the Prophet said, I will get back to you tomorrow with the 3 questions they asked him. But he didn't say inshallah. He just said, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayah 15 days later. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا إِلَّا أَنْ يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. Now do not say anything that I will do tomorrow except with the will of Allah. Say inshallah. It's called the istisna. Say inshallah whenever you do something. And we have a bad habit. Tomorrow I'm gonna go do this. Tonight I'm gonna eat this. How certain are you they're gonna eat this? How certain are you tomorrow you're gonna go do this? I'm gonna pray from tomorrow. We have this very famous phrase now. I'm gonna start praying from tomorrow. How do you know if you're gonna be awake tomorrow? How do you know if you're gonna be alive tomorrow? So we should always say inshallah. And they say Sulaiman. Sorry guys. They say Sulaiman alayhi salam, he had a lot of wives. And in one night, he went to so many different wives. And he said that, I'm going to go to every single wife tonight and they're going to have a kid. But he didn't say inshallah. So they say in the books of Tafsīr, out of the 100 wives he went on that one night, Ajib, out of the 100 wives he went on that one night, none of them had any kids. None of them got pregnant, apart from one of the women. And that woman, when she gave birth, it came out disabled, the kid. It couldn't move. Now this was a lesson for Sulaiman alayhi salam, that do not say, I'm going to do this today, without saying insha'Allah. And it's really important. And we know this story, we're going to come to it soon, about the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, the Gog and Magog, as we call it in English. They're in the wall, which is Al-Qur'an built. We're going to come to the story inshallah tomorrow, how we built the wall. And now we know that they can't come up from this wall, and then one day they will come out from this wall. How? By saying, inshallah, tomorrow we'll finish the leftover from the bricks so we can come out. So, inshallah is a very important word that unfortunately we lack in when we say something. oh, I'll see you tomorrow. Say, inshallah, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Also, the word mashallah. Like, whenever you see someone have something good, say mashallah. Maybe sometimes you have hate or you're a bit jealous that, oh, I wish I had this, I don't have this. But you have to do a bit of takalluf. You have to force yourself and say mashallah sometimes. That's why you see in Yemen when all the houses, they have mashallah everywhere. Mashallah, 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 all around the house. Why? They don't want people to give them, because when someone reads mashallah, automatically, khalas, he can't give any evil eye anymore. He can't envy that person anymore, because he said mashallah. So like this, saying inshallah is really important. And now, you might say to yourself, I say inshallah, but my dua or my this thing doesn't happen. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala either does three things to your dua, even if you said inshallah. Either he delays it for the hereafter, he can give you something better, and that is the best thing. Because they say that on the day of judgment, if you see the dua which was kept for you away from you from this dunya, but you saw it in the hereafter, you're gonna wish, I wish all of my dua I made, it wasn't accepted in the dunya. I wish it was all accepted in the hereafter. Second is, Allah will change this to something else for your own good. And the third is, Allah will subhanahu wa ta'ala might not accept your dua, but He'll remove another affliction from your family, from your life. So that's why it's really important to say inshallah in our daily lives. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the two people. He says, وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلًا رَجُلَيْنِ جَعَلْنَا لِأَحَدِهِمَا جَنَّتَيْنِ مِنْ أَعْنَابٍ وَخَفَفْنَاهُ بِنَخْلٍ وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا زَرْعًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the two people. Now what happened here? There was a famous rich king. He had two children. And before he died, he gave his wealth to one of the he gave 3,000 dinars to one of his kids, and he gave the other 3,000 dinars to one of his other kids. This is mentioned in Ibn Abbas mentioned this story in his Tafsīr. So he had 3,000 dinars, 6,000 dinars. So he has 6,000 dinars. So he did give 3,000 dinars to one of his first kid and 3,000 to the other kid. Now first kid became a Muslim. When I say Muslim at that time, i.e. someone who had Iman, who knows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. So one of them became a Muslim, one of them became a kafir. He didn't believe in Allah and he didn't have any Iman. So the first one who was a mu'min, or who was a Muslim, what did he do with his 3,000 riyals, 3,000 dinars? You're not gonna get it with 3,000 riyals. He with that money, for the first 1,000, he freed a slave. He bought a slave with that money and he freed a slave. The second one, he built a mosque, and with the last 1,000 dinars, he fed a poor person. And whatever he from not only the whole 1,000, but he gave some of it to the poor, and some of it he bought some clothes for a poor person as well. As for the kafir, the one who disbelieved, he got married with the money. He had a lot of kids. He also bought an animal with that with that money, and he started a business. And from the animal, the animal gave birth and gave more kids. And from that, he had a whole garden full of animals and a whole garden full of cattle, and he had a business which he opened. Now, his first brother, who was a Muslim, he didn't have anything. So he entered his garden, and he saw his garden, he's got rivers now, he's got trees, mashallah. He said to him, give me some of what you have. Oh brother, you're my brother, give me some of what you have. He goes, I ain't gonna give you anything, this is all mine, I got this, our father gave me this money, you're useless, you use all the money upon poor people, freeing a slave. But whereas me, I'm clever. What I did, I bought the whole dunya, I've got wives, I've got this and that. So then he goes, that I've got no kids. The Muslim, he didn't get married, he's got no kids, he's got no garden. So his brother started to become arrogant. He goes, I got more kids than you. أنا أكثر منك مالا وولدا. I got more kids than you. I've got more money than you. What did you do with your life? You went downhill now. Now you do your own stuff. So he didn't give it. And when he entered his heaven, he said, why do you not say MashaAllah to all these things, all the stuff that you got in your garden? Why do you not say MashaAllah? He said, this will never go away from me. Everything I've got here, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can never take it. Then he says, his brother says, وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ قُلْتَ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ إِنْ تَرَنَا أَقَلَّ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَوَلَدًا. I've got no kids. I've got no wealth. Why didn't you say mashallah of what you have? He goes, وما أظن أن ساعة قائمة ولا إن رددت إلى ربي لأجدن خيرا منها منقلبا. He's saying he doesn't believe the Sa'ah, the Qiyamah is going to happen. He goes, everything I have here is going to last me my whole life. I've got the money. I've got the wealth. So then his brother makes dua. فعسى ربي أن يؤتينا خيرا من جنتك ويرسل عليه حسبانا من السماء فتصبح صعيدا زلقا أو يصبح ماؤها غورا فلن تستطيع له طلبا. So his brother made dua upon him, saying that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroy everything that you have, because you're not appreciating what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. Then what happened? فأصبح نعم فأصبح يقلب كفيه على ما أنفق فيها وهي خاوية على عروشها ويقول يا ليتني لم أشرك بربي أحدا. So he's in the morning when he woke up, he saw the whole grass, the whole tree was burnt down. It's gone. The river is gone. It became dry. Look what arrogance did to him for not appreciating what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him. The next day he woke up. He's got no grass. He's got no land. All the trees are gone. It's burnt. The river that he had, it's all dry now. So then he started. He started doing this. Ya Allah, what have I done? Why did I make partners with you for? Why did I not appreciate what you did? So, from this lesson, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention this? That you should appreciate what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you. That you should always say MashaAllah for everything which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you. You know, because if you don't say MashaAllah, you get evil eye. And as I said before, we mentioned, try to even force yourself to say MashaAllah. And there's no problem with someone having so much money. With someone having, but if it's the way you use that money and how much you appreciate which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives wealth to whoever He wants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes poor whoever He wants. But the one who's wealthy, what is he doing with this money? Is he thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this money? They say, mention a story about Habib, that someone asked him, they came up to him and said, he was like a Bedouin. He said, you claim that you're a Sufi, that you're a Ahlul Bayt, this and that, but you got 4 cars, so you got 4 houses, you've got a nice car, you always have good food, you got so much money, so what's this claim that you make? You know what he replied? He goes, the difference is that all this wealth is in my hands, not in my heart. So this is what we need to realize, that if you have wealth and you have mashallah good cars and houses and money, to keep it in your heart, you keep it in your hand. Don't keep it dunya in your heart. Because when I say in your hand, you're going to give it to whoever you want, whenever you want. If it goes away, you don't care. But if it's in your heart, big problem. If it goes away tomorrow, you start crying, thinking the life is over for you. They say once Habib Umar's car got stolen, and then the police came over to his house, saying that, can you describe us what's the colour of your car so we could start looking for it? He goes, honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember what the colour of my car. Like, that shows that he never ever looked at the dunya. He doesn't look at the colour of the car to remember that, oh, this is the colour of my car. It's just something that never came into his head. Like, okay, this is the colour of my car. He just goes to the car, comes out of the car. But how many few years later, the car came back and they found the car. So that shows that whatever comes to you and goes to you, have sabr and do not keep it in your heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you better than that. They say about, and to be humble, that's another lesson. This story that we mentioned, to be humble. In every single scenario, to be humble. Know that you're better than no one on this earth. If you see someone younger than you, say to yourself that this person has done less sins than me. If you see someone older than you, say to yourself that this person has done more worship than me. And if you see, so they also mentioned about Habib Salim, the grandfather of Habib Umar, who was in Mishtah. They say that the earth used to complain from the intense humbleness that he had on earth. The intense humbleness whenever he used to walk. He was very humble. And honestly, humbleness, it lifts you up higher. The more humble you get, the more higher you're going to get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like a tree. If a tree is stubborn and it's always high up, are you going to be able to reach the fruits? No. But you always see the trees, at some point they dangle down, they come down, the twigs, they're coming down. Why? So it's more easier for you to get the fruits. So like this, if someone's humble in front of Allah, and when I say humble, it's not something outwards like, oh, okay, sorry, no, I can't do this. No, you're better than me. No, humbleness is in the heart. That you actually say to yourself that I'm better than no one. That I'm a person who can benefit from these people. So try to always be humble, inshallah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on telling them the story of Musa alayhi salam and Khidr alayhi salam. Now a little background about Musa alayhi salam and Khidr alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam was a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without any doubt, and there's no differences of opinions in this. But regarding Khidr alayhi salam, some scholars say that he is a prophet and some scholars say that he was a righteous person. But a lot of scholars, and it's a strong opinion, they say that Khidr alayhi salam was indeed a prophet. But again, there's differences of opinions. Musa alayhi salam was a prophet who was sent to the Jews, and as you guys know, the Jews were always stubborn in life even till now, and he's the one who fighted the Fir'aun, and he was known to be, mashallah, he was a hot-headed person. He used to get, I wouldn't say angry quickly, but if he did like something, he didn't like it. They say that when they mention in the books of I think it's Fakhr al-Razi, Tafsīr Fakhr al-Razi, which is Abu Bakr's favorite Mufassir. They mentioned that when angel Israel alayhi salam came to take his soul, he slapped him in the face. He slapped in the angel. The angel went back and said, Ya Allah, you sent me to take the soul of a person who doesn't like death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the angel, go back and ask him if he wants to live longer. For every single sheep, the hair of the sheep, he'll have that life. Or if he wants me to take his soul, I'll take his soul now. The angel came back, the angel of death, and said to him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you two options. He goes, no, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to take my soul now, he should take my soul. Now, how did this story start? I'm going to have to skip a few things. Sayyidina Musa was with Yusha alayhi salam. They was together, and then there was a few situations which happened with them, and then they left. Musa alayhi salam asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, is there anyone more knowledgeable than me? Is there anyone has more knowledge than me? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, go to this place, you see a man, he is more knowledgeable than you. So he says, when Musa alayhi salam met Khidr alayhi salam, he said to him, قال له موسى هل أتبعك على أن تعلمني مما علمت رشدا قال إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا. Musa said to Khidr alayhi salam, can I follow you? I want to accompany you for a few days. I want to see what I could learn from you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that there's someone more knowledgeable than me here. So I found you. So can I accompany you? Khidr alayhi salam said, you won't have any patience with me. You won't have any patience. لا تستطيع معي صبرا. You won't have any patience with me. قال إنك لن أعيوه وكيف تصبر على ما لم تحط به خبرا قال ستجدني إن شاء الله صابرا ولا أعصي لك أمرا. Musa alayhi salam says, don't worry, inshallah I'm gonna have patience and I'm not gonna go against what you say. So they was walking, aywa, and they saw they needed a boat. So the people of the boat, they knew Khidr alayhi salam, and they said to them, come onto the boat. So Musa alayhi salam, Khidr alayhi salam, they went to the boat because the people of the boat knew Khidr alayhi salam. When they came to the Shalti, when they came to the end of the beach, they came up from the boat, and Khidr alayhi salam, what he did, he broke the boat. So Musa alayhi salam was thinking, these guys gave you a lift, a free lift with the boat, and you broke the boat. Then Khidr alayhi salam said, did I not tell you not to ask me any questions? That you're not going to have patience with me. Go away. He said, okay, I'm not going to ask any questions. So then they carried on going. And then they saw a boy. And what Khidr alayhi salam said, he did, they said either he slapped him or either he poked him with his staff. This boy, he died on the spot. Imagine giving a slap, he's dead. Musa alayhi salam said, I don't understand. Oh, okay, forget the boat, but you just killed this boy. What has he done to you? Khidr alayhi salam said, I told you, you're not going to have any patience with me. Just go. Let you go your way, let me go my way. Just leave me alone. He said, okay, I forgot, sorry. I'm not going to ask any more questions. And they carried on. As they were going, they wanted to have some food. Now they were really hungry. They went to one of this area and they asked the people, can you give us some food? And they said no. So on the way they're leaving the town, they saw there's a wall. It's about to fall down. فَأَقَامَهَا. So what Khidr alayhi salam did, he fixed the wall. Musa said, these people didn't even feed us. We asked them for food and they didn't feed us. Now you're fixing the wall. Okay, you're fixing the wall, but take something from them. Like, okay, they didn't want to give us food for free, but the fact that you fixed the wall, go and tell them, I fixed your wall, is about to break down, give me some money for the job that I did. Khidr said, this is where we depart from each other. This is where we go away. You go your way, and I'm going to go my way, and I'm going to explain to you now why I did these 3 things, but from now, don't ask me any more questions. You go your way, and you don't have any patience with me. Here, the Prophet when he said this story to the Sahabas, he said, only if my brother Musa alayhi salam was not to say to him, with the second time, the condition that I'm not going to ask any more questions, we would have seen more wisdom into the story as the days go. We would have seen more stuff happening. So he said, as for the bow, I broke the bow. Why? As for the bow, I broke the bow. Why? Because there was a king who's about to come and take all the good boats. There was an oppressive king who's coming to take all the good boats. He's looking for good boats. So what I did, I saved this boat, because the king, he doesn't want any broken boat. So I took so I broke the boat just a little bit on the side, so no one can take the boat. Okay, that's fine. The second story, he goes, as for the boy, I know that this boy, when he grows up, he's going to become a kafir, and he's gonna be hurting his mom and dad. His mom and dad, they're good people, but this boy, when he grows up, he's going to be a ruler of one of the countries, and he's going to be a bad king, and he's going to be a kafir. So before he grows up, I took his life away, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not make this happen. But then he goes, they say that when he died, his mother was pregnant with another child who was going to be a pious person. So he goes, okay, second one I understood. Third, why did you fix this wall but you didn't take anything? Why did you fix this wall for? These people, they didn't feed us anything. Why would you fix a wall? He goes, underneath of the wall, there's some treasure. And this treasure is for 2 orphans. If I don't fix this wall's going to break, and people will see the treasure. And this treasure was there many years ago. Someone put the treasure there years ago, and they put a wall to cover it, so no one thinks there's a treasure. They think it's just a wall. He goes, I fixed the wall because if I don't fix the wall now, the wall's going to break down, and the treasure will be taken by the people of this town, who didn't feed us. So I fixed this wall so no one has any idea that there's some treasure there, and this treasure is for 2 orphans who will come later on, many years later, and they will take it. And then he goes, ذَلِكَ تَأْوِيلُ مَا لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ عَلَيْهِ صَبْرًا. So if you guys realize here in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and each time the verb istata'a yastati'u, it goes less and less. i.e., first he goes la tastati', then he goes la tastati', then he goes la tasti' alayhi sabra. He puts a sukoon, i.e., you not able to have any patience with me. The last time he said la tasti' alayhi sabra, i.e., you won't have any patience. At the beginning he said la tastati', i.e., okay, you're not going to have any patience with me. That verb is a bit less severe. But when he said la tasti', and in Arab, when the verb is more or less, the meaning is more wider and it's more intense. So he just said, instead of la tastati', straight away he said tasti' at the end, if you realize, the third time. Ayi, khalas. You asked me 3 questions. First time, I had patience with you, Ayi Musa. Second time, I had it. But third time, no, there's no more patience with you anymore. You're not going to have any patience with me at all. He left. Then he realized, subhanallah, Musa, that there is someone more knowledgeable than him. So we learn from this as well that it's important to have patience and to able to, when someone does something, not to straight away judge that person. Ask them, clarify, why did you do this for? Don't judge someone straight away, and have husn zan, have good opinions of someone, and also to be humble. Because he asked Allah, is there anyone more knowledgeable than you? Musa said he was the most knowledgeable. Allah said there's someone more knowledgeable than you, which was Khidr alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq inshallah, and make us a means to do khidmah for this ummah and accept all our du'as. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us patience and make us humble servants of him subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way he wants, the way the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our du'as, accept our Ramadan. وصلى الله على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والحمد لله رب العالمين. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم. وإلى حضرتك.